All right, call the meeting to order, and as Chuck said, what was it, 7? I have 7:06.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Right here.
here on January 13th, 2021. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be better because it can't be worse.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and roll call, you did say, okay, Gowski, chair.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Mayor Lusky,
Vanessa Jones,
Mark Fortin.
Tom Lewis.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
roll
and
call.
Chuck is here too, Chuck Martin.
Yes.
Can you hear us, Chuck?
Yes, I can.
Hi, excellent. All right. Agenda item number 3, annual reorganization of the FT Trails Advisory Committee.
Okay, you want me to take the motion or?
Yes,
Okay, so we need a motion for nominating a chair for the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee for 2021.
is anyone interested in being the chair of TAC committee? Okay, let me take a direct approach. Vanessa, you were vice chair. Would you be interested in being chair?
only if Jim was not interested in being chair again.
Jim, are you interested in being chair again?
how about one more year? I'll do it since this year was kind of like gone, but if you don't mind, or if you'd have me, I'll do it for one more year. And then Vanessa, you have it next year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
You're first in line for next year.
I second both those motions.
Tom, you're third in line. That won't change.
All right.
We can do,
So-
we can go fourth or fifth. I'm sure that's not a problem.
So Anne Marie, was that you made a motion then for Jim? Okay, so motion, and then the second is Tom?
Correct.
Okay, so all in favor of Jim Kolagowski being chair of trails for 2021, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed or abstentions? No. Okay, so congratulations, Jim.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you very much, committee members. We'll try to do better this year. Get a lot of things done. Final year.
I thought we did pretty good under the circumstances.
Yes.
Pretty good.
We've moved the PTP along pretty well, I think, for the
Mhm.
last short months. All right.
Here.
With the, okay, I guess we can move on to agenda item. Oh, vice chair. We need to do
Mhm.
vice chair. Yeah, okay. Nominate Vanessa Jones to be vice chair.
I second.
Vanessa, are you interested?
Yes, I will continue.
Great, thank you. All right. So let's vote. All those in favor of
Anne
Vanessa.
Marie, I'm looking at you next year, Anne Marie.
We'll see.
All right. All those in favor of Vanessa as vice chair of the Trails Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Congratulations, Vanessa. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, both of you.
All right. Now, I guess any other, I don't think that's it for, I don't know if secretary is an official position, but Chuck, we appreciate the excellent minutes that you do. Would you like to continue?
Thank you. I'm happy to continue. Sometimes I have a little hard time reading the body language, but you know, if there are others that would like to consider doing it, that's fine with me too. I don't really care. I have no problem with continuing to do the minutes.
I think it's actually an official position, so I'll make a motion to nominate Chuck Martin as secretary.
A second.
Second.
Thank you. If anyone changes their mind, let's vote for Chuck for secretary of the committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Again, congratulations,
Yay.
Chuck.
Yay.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Chuck.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Good job.
Smile. Smile, Chuck. Okay. Is that it for reorganization of the committee?
That's it.
All right. Okay. Approval of the December 2020 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? I did, and I think the only thing we were missing was that gentleman that was on the call that was from the public that was talking about Inman Park Trail.
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't figure out who that is. I actually went to the Environmental Commission website and I couldn't find any names that matched. So if anybody knows, please tell me.
I know who it is, Chuck. I can, you want me to email you the name or just tell you it?
Either way, I'm at my keyboard, so.
Okay, his name is Stan, S-T-A-N. And his last name, I'm gonna spell it, is J-A-R-A-C-Z.
Jaracz.
Yeah.
Jairus, okay. Sounds like a Baltic kind of name.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he's from, but yeah, so if you add that in and then once everyone approves, if you just resend me that version, I'll post it.
All right, that'll do.
Yeah, I had no issues with anything else, and I'm glad that we were able to clarify his name. That's great. Okay, I do want to make a motion to accept the December 2020 minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the December 2020 minutes with the addition that will be provided to update the name under public comment in number 7.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Any objections? Nay. Okay, motion carries. Minutes are approved with the note that the name of the public commenter will be added.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now it is for the public comment. Tara, is there anyone on the line or?
No, 0 attendees.
Okay, moving right along to new business. And this is very interesting because I did get the email and all of a sudden, it said they were going to plan for it and then all of a sudden it just occurred. I got.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Well, hey, you have to do it by the weather, right? So. Okay,
right.
so Tara, if you can tell us what transpired and.
Mm-hmm. So as you all, I've been talking about this prescribed burn for a while. We put the application in last year. And then there was delays because of COVID and because of the fires in California. Our section warden actually went out there for 3 months. So that's why there was some delay as well. But they came back and as soon as everything, the plan was approved and everything was in place, they sent an email, I guess it was mid last week, saying we're going to go out and do some prep work at John Clyde, which was basically mowing, and they disc some of the soil, and it just is like easier ways for the fire to catch if certain grasses are laid down, and they had to just kind of do some mowing and prep work and making lines and things like that. So they said after we're done with the prep work, the fire could happen anytime before April 15th. So we were like, okay, because they finished the prep work on Thursday, I guess. So Thursday, as soon as I got that notice that the prep work was almost done, I contacted DPW and they put up aluminum signs basically explaining what the burn is and saying that it could happen anytime between now and April 15th. And that when the burn happens, the property is closed for that time to hikers and hunters, regardless of, what day it is. So the signs went up. We did a Facebook post. We created a new web page on the Franklin website to kind of get as much notice out as possible. It's a good thing we did that when we did, because we got the call on Tuesday, yesterday morning, we got the call that they're coming out to do the burn today, Wednesday. So luckily we did have a few days of notice to the public, which we were thankful for because we really wanted to make sure the public was properly notified. So yesterday we also put out a Nixle alert, did more Facebook posts. We made sure it got on the police department's Facebook and on all of the local fire departments' Facebook. And we also notified emergency personnel, the township manager, and I notified all the committees. So we were trying to make sure everyone knew. I was a little concerned about moving on it as quickly as we did, but as Jim had mentioned, it really is very weather dependent. So if you miss the day that looks good, there's a chance you might not get another day before April 15th. So I'm glad it moved forward. Chuck came as well today, and Bob Puskis, the chair of Open Space, stopped by for a little bit. Chuck and I were there the whole day, and it was amazing to watch. It was so professional. Not that I ever didn't think it was going to be professional, but watching them in action, it was like, it just was unbelievable. It's like such a well-run, organized process that you would never associate with fire, but it really was. On top of that, they let Chuck and I go with them. We were right next to them the entire time. So we were all the way down on the fields with them, and we were watching them, you know, light the fire. And while they were doing it, they were explaining to us why they do things the way they do them, how they put it out, what type of fuel they were using. So we really learned a lot too, that we can relay to the public and anyone else that was interested. And I did see it at the end. I didn't see it at first, luckily, but when you do this burn, it's interesting to note that a ton of mice come out. A ton of mice just come like scurrying out of the field, which I should have been prepared for, but I didn't even think of it. And Chuck saw it and I was like, oh no, I should have been ready. But so anyway, so it was excellent. Our section warden, his name is George Effinger. He really kind of oversees the whole thing. And it's just so well done and professional. And already, I'll show you video and photos. You can see a huge difference already at Briggstown. They weren't able to complete everything today because they kind of ran out of light. The first field they tried to burn, they had a little bit of a hard time because there's a lot of woody vegetation that was resistant to burn. So they're going to come back and try some other techniques to burn that. But they did get most of it done today. So Chuck, before I show the photos and the videos, do you have anything that you want to add? I'm sure I missed some things.
No, I think you did a great job telling people. We did have the fire chief and his son, who are the Griggstown Fire Department, were there most of the day as well, which we thought was a very good thing.
Yes.
The local fire people were on board with this. We also encountered a number of people who were coming up to the parking lot to run on the trails and just to see what was going on. And it was a good thing for us that we were able to be there and talk to them and tell them what was going on. But what was really sort of interesting is that Tara got no complaints about
None,
fire,
not one.
the entire day.
No, and I kept checking my email and my voicemail because I was sure, but no, nothing. And actually even checked the people that came to the parking lot. Most of them just were like, oh, we just wanted to see what was going on. So yeah, no public complaints, which was excellent.
Good, really good.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I guess the other thing, there is a bit of a concern because some of the areas did not actually burn well. And these were particular areas that actually had a lot of invasives. And and one particular area had a lot of blackberry vines in it. And apparently this sort of impeded the fire being able to consume the fuel in that area. But so it's possible that they may need to alter their burn strategy in these areas and do mowing first, so that all the things that are all the fuel is now on the ground rather than sticking up as stalks in the air. And then they do what I've forgotten again what they called it, Tara. It's a
Stubble burn.
Stubble burn, yes, as opposed to a head burn or backfire type of burn.
I get stubble
which is-
burn with an old razor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get
Yeah.
that myself, yes. So anyway, it was a great experience, actually. And
It was, yeah.
I learned a lot, and I definitely think we need to have them out there as much as they're willing to come, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Absolutely. It was really cool. All right,
they
let me
gonna
show you. Oh, go
do-
ahead.
Real quick, just are they going to do Negri at some point too? Is that the idea?
We want to do Negri. It was recommended in our Audubon plan that was just done recently to do Negri. We wanted to kind of start off with one site and just kind of see like how it went, learn the process, feel out the public. And yeah, I think as long as, you know, you guys and the Open Space Advisory Committee are all on board, I think it's the preferred method of maintenance going forward. And Negri would definitely be included in that for sure.
Oh, and just as a note, Bob Puskas, who's the chair of the Open Space Committee, also showed up for a while, and we had a good talk with Bob about
Yeah.
burn strategies and grassland maintenance. So
Yeah, it was really good. All right, I'm gonna share my screen.
I just ask a quick question. Now that it's been burned, what do we do to encourage the grass that we want to grow there versus the invasives coming in again and taking control? What's part
So-
two? Once you
Yeah.
burn it, then you got to plant something there or the invasives will take over again.
Right, yeah, Yeah,
the
he has
invasives are
to
not
con-
going away. The
Yeah.
invasives haven't gone away. There's actually a large seed bank in the soil already of spotted knapweed, mugwort. Mugworts actually have an extensive root system and so on. So basically, what we did was to remove fuel and actually dead material from the surface of the soils, and this will actually encourage what's left of the grass to grow, and we should get a pretty good bloom of grass this spring as a result of that. But it's going to require more work,
Mhm.
and I think it's probably repeated burning, and we may have to. We'll know more in the spring, and
It comes up.
as the summer progresses. But it would not surprise me if what we want to do is to maintain this as grassland, that we'll probably have to seed and maybe do other types of treatments as well, just to sustain that. And that's
Yeah.
something we need to talk about as we move along and see what's going on.
Yeah, well, like Chuck said, we'll definitely have to see what comes up now after this second burn that they're gonna have to do to finish up. And then from there, yeah, we'll be able to decide, do we want to reseed? George had recommended that for probably the first 4 years. So this year included and another 3 years, we probably want to burn there every year because that'll deplete a lot of the seed bank that's already in the soil. And then after that, maybe we reseed and we go to every other year, and maybe we even switch seasons. So it's really going to kind of be like let's see what happens after this, what's going to come up, and what, we can go from there. But that's a great question because yeah, there's a lot of now, once we did this part, we have to, do things to keep it the way we want it.
Right. Part two is really big part of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, great. I can't wait to see the pictures.
Okay. All right. Let's share my screen here. Okay. So let me move this over here. All right. I'm just going to show you them in kind of like a row. So they might not be in the exact order, but I can kind of like talk through them, I guess. So this is a video of when they by the fence in the parking lot. Hold on, it's buffering. Can you all see? Okay.
And Tara, that's by the parking lot?
Yeah, so I'm standing at the fence looking from the parking lot. So that's just a video to kind of show you that it starts off as these small fires that are strategically placed. It's not like a completely ablaze, but it gets the job done. And then this section here, That's been burned. It's already on its own. They don't put water on it. Normally it's smoldering and it goes out on its own, and this is what you're left with. This is another video. It looks like there's a few videos in here. So this is the fire service, and this is most of their team, you can see. This is down the trail when you go into the parking lot, down the main trail. There's Chuck. And and so you can see that's the intersection. So to the left, they're burning some things, and then straight ahead, and they bring their trucks there with water just in case. They have half of the team is actually holding the torches and burning, and the other half are actually made up of EMTs and supervisors that are watching everyone and making sure everything is safe. Let's see what this one is. Okay, so this is an example of when it's done burning, it smolders like this for a while. They watch it and then see how the field is. That was all grasses, and that's what it now looks like in the one field that really, you know, was super grassy and burned very well. So it
Wow, that's
smolders-
remarkable.
It is. It smolders for a few minutes on its own. I believe, if I'm correct, and unless Chuck maybe saw more, they only used water 1 or 2 times, and it was in this area because it was so grassy that it really lit up well. But just the little water. The rest of the time, they have it planned so that it burns out based on its own like energy, basically. So really interesting.
There were some
Um,
pretty woody bushes and stuff, some heftier items mixed amongst the grasses in certain areas. Were those consumed as well?
Some were not. What is it called, Chuck? The pear,
Yeah, actually, most of the woods that I think Mark's talking about were not consumed. I'm interested in whether or not the fire actually killed some of them. What they're saying, what George was saying was that the fire does not kill Bradford pear or the autumn olive, which we've got a lot of.
Yeah.
I have heard, talking to friends in the field who are out in Texas, that fire is about the only way you could kill red cedar seedlings coming in. But so we don't know. I'm going to go out and photograph the burned areas tomorrow and the next few days to sort of get a record of some of these different types of plants, and then we can watch them to see what happens as spring comes and summer comes, to see if they're going to
Yeah.
I was wondering if like it would be worth having Department of Public Works come in and brush hog the stuff that remains standing, or if that's going to make it worse by scattering seed.
George had mentioned that after they finish with the second burn, he did mention that the ones that are left, things like the pear and all that, it might be good for Public Works to come and basically cut them and then do a spot treatment on those, just on what's left. So that probably is going to have to be part of phase 2. Once everything's burned and we see what's left, we might have to do that spot treating to those areas, but because they're just resistant to fire. So yeah, that's definitely something we need to kind of keep an eye on. This video here I'll hit play on. So it's out of order the way that I'm playing them, but it's just because I couldn't, like, we just got home not too long ago, so I just uploaded them. But this is the fence. This is where I was standing, and like, so this was pre them. But this, when they start doing the burn, this is what they do. They get all these people lined all the way up, and then they like call an order, like, you now light your fire, everyone watches. Then they send them down the line to like create these strips, and it's all based on the direction of the wind. So they create these like strips of fire, and then they let the wind kind of like carry the fire in the direction they want it to go. So just to kind of show you the operation they have, they're extremely, trained, and it was just like really interesting. So this is a person doing it. He's holding a torch, and he literally takes it and he puts it on the perimeter there and lights the whole thing. And there's Chuck.
Yeah, it was very cool. They gave us all the special hats and Nomex shirts, fire-resistant clothing to
Yes.
go around with.
They gave us the hats and all that. Okay, so this is the sign. So the rest I think I had uploaded for tonight are just pictures, but this is a picture of the sign that Public Works put up. It's here. It has a map showing it. And this language all talks about the burn season, how it's closed, and it gives a link to the website so that people could kind of understand, like, this is what's going on. And there was an identical sign placed at the entrance along Canal Road. This is a picture of the field as you go down the trail when you're in the parking lot on your right-hand side. This is again just like a still photo of it smoldering, but you can see some of the staff here, the fire staff, they're in here and they have like brooms and shovels and things that they use to put out instead of using water right away. This is another still picture of someone. They all carry these drip torches and go along the perimeter there. Where's my arrow here? Okay, hold on. I have to go back to my arrow. Give me 1 second. Let's see if this shows. Okay, so this is another example of some of the fire here when it takes off. So you can see there's some down here. There's some here. I don't know why my thing is not letting me go one by one, but that's okay. I'll do it this way. No big deal. This is a picture of a field that's been partially burned. So you can see it started over here and this is what you're left with and it's making its way this way. So the fire, this is a picture of the fire moving in the, towards the left of the screen here. And this is what you're left with. So it's interesting. You can see the fire, it goes out on its own. So it actually is very, very safe. So here's some more of the personnel there going into the fields to do some of the burning. This was one here by the fence where it really kind of took off. So the flame here was maybe like 5 feet tall at the time. Let me see what else. I think oh, this is what I want to show you. The root of the Callaway. I think this is, I labeled it. So this is a picture we took. Is this a pear tree, Chuck? Did I label this correctly?
That's probably a Calvary or Bradford pear, yeah.
Okay, so this is an example. So this field, everything around this field is completely burned, except for this is standing. So this is the Callaway pear, the Bradford pear. And as you can see, the roots are the bottom of it here, closest to the ground, is a little bit burned, but not really. I mean, it doesn't really move too much during it. So this is an example of something that we have to work with DPW to spot treat because the fire, it doesn't really do much for this. There's the sign again. There's the people. So now I'm going, let me say, I don't know why. Okay, hold on. I'll scoot down. This is up close. I might have shown you all the pictures. So this is just more pictures. I mean, as you can see, the backfield here has been burned. There's more of the personnel. So there's a lot of them. There was probably at least 20 personnel from fire safety, from forest fire service there. And they bring their own water truck. They have a fuel truck. And then, like I said, they have George, who's the section warden. He oversees everything. Then they have a person that's the district warden. He's on the ground in charge of all the personnel. And then they split into teams. And they have an accident plan in case someone gets hurt. So they're very, very well prepared. Here's another, just so you can see them in the back. The other thing you'll notice, if you go out there, you'll see when you go, you're not going to walk out there and see like just one whole field of just black soil. There's going to be some vegetation around it, but George had mentioned to us that's kind of what you want. Like you don't want like the scorched earth approach because that doesn't you don't want to burn everything to the ground. Some vegetation is going to stay and that's okay because you want this mosaic of grasses versus like the scorched earth to kind of make everything work together. And I think that is it for my pictures and videos. So I think that kind of gives you a good idea, right? And I think I showed you this. This is a picture. I think I showed, oh no, this is a movie. So this was when they started it. This is exactly, I think I showed you this, but this was like the first thing they lit. This is the field here. When you walk down the trail from the parking lot to your right, this is where they had a hard time getting it to burn because there was a lot of woody vegetation in there. So they're going to have to think of something different for that area and come back with a new approach. So that's it. So now I don't know when they're going to come back. It's going to be weather dependent and when they can, fit us in with the rest of the schedule, but they will come back one more time before April 15th. And then they said, if we do want them to use this method annually, we just submit an application every year and they'll just come and do the same thing. And it's great because they do all the planning. It's all their equipment. They prep everything. They give us a report. They'll even mow the fields. If one of the strategies is let's completely mow this field down and then burn it, they'll mow it. And they do it. It's all covered under the 2018 Prescribed Burn Act, which is free for municipalities. So it's really a good option.
That's good.
That's it for that. Anybody have any questions or?
Terrific information. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
The pictures.
Thank you. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
more.
thank you.
I'll upload more when I have a chance. We were there most of the day. I know Chuck actually even stayed a little later than I did. So, yeah, it was good though.
Thank you both for attending.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, it was great.
yeah, they broke off at 4 o'clock, and
Okay.
I left about 4:15 after thanking them profusely. And,
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds
looking
great.
forward to getting out there and taking a walk and see it for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I was thinking the same thing. I can't wait to see it.
Have to stagger our
really.
times. We'll have to stagger the times so we don't have an open public meetings by accident.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, I would. Yeah, when you go out, let me know what you think because it's very interesting. To me, at least, I was like completely fascinated.
Well, I'm sure it looks very different now compared to the background picture behind me at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
it does. It does. Yeah. Yep. So that's it for that.
Excellent. And like you said, they'll do it every year or so.
As long as, that's what the committee wants and that's what the town wants. Yeah, they're happy to come out and do it annually. At Mercer County Parks Commission, they do it annually and they think that's best. So, maybe once we get it the way we want it, maybe then it switches to every other year. But, it's going to take a little bit, especially if we add Negri in to get to that point.
And the beauty of this time of year, I mean, other than chasing the mice and the voles out, I mean, we're
Yeah.
not getting in the way of nesting birds that I'm aware of. So
Right.
the timing is good
Yeah.
this time of year.
That's actually one interesting thing too, I should have said, and George had knew it was going to happen, but when we saw the mice, I was like, oh my gosh. But as soon as you see the mice, the next thing you see is all the birds hovering overhead because it really is like the mice come out and then the big, large birds come out. So it's,
I was wondering, did you see a lot of raptors coming to pick them off?
didn't see any pickoffs, but there were a couple of red shoulders out there and looking around, and I think they're going to have a good time hunting in that cleared area. That's for sure.
yeah. Super interesting.
I think we should, the idea of the annual is a great idea and we should be aggressive for the time being to try and stay ahead of it because it's kind of gotten away from us a little bit over the years and it's been hard to keep all those invasives out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the application process is relatively easy, especially like now that the first application, I guess, is the hardest because they have to make this burn plan and do a lot of information, research to get the information, but now they have it. So it's really just a matter of saying like, yes, please come back. And, we're just making little tweaks to the area. So after you will have a chance to look at it, maybe next meeting, we can talk about what you really think and how it goes. And if we're all good for it, I can put the application in as early as I want for next year. This way it's in place.
Yeah, the other thing I think is in the past, we had a period of time when we actually had the mushroom farmers, but we got too much junk in there that they didn't want to take it anymore. But maybe that idea you had of in the future, maybe 2, 3, 4 years of this every year, and then switching to an alternating year, maybe on the alternating years, we can get the mushroom farmers to come back and mow it so that we have to go back and forth between a burn year and a year that's good for them with less of the junk and more of the good stuff that they want to take off our hands.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And and it would be, they'd probably be more willing to do so. So I like that idea. Really good. Okay.
Out of curiosity, was the driveway at all fixed before they came to do this burn?
The driveway, no, still had a ton of ruts in it, a ton of ruts. So I put another call in today when I got back, because it's like, there was a lot of ruts. They did put some stone down. The fire service put some stone in the parking lot to support their vehicles, but not, they didn't knock the driveway. So yeah, we have to get that taken care of, because now it's even worse with all those trucks that went by. So,
I
yeah.
was hoping that maybe this would have been a catalyst to get it fixed.
You know what? I think if we had more time, but I mean, it just happened so fast, but it's good, because now I have pictures of the ruts too, so.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you, John.
Okay, good. I had to register as a guest, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah, I bumped you up as panelist, so you're good.
Okay, any other comments or questions regarding the burn? Feel the burn. Okay. All right, do we move on to agenda item number 7, old business, volunteer project at Negri.
Yes, so I just wanted to give you a quick update that we did receive the volunteer release forms from John Luce and his wife and grandson. So I got those, sent them to Bob Warrenlocker. So now he's able to go out and do his volunteer work, which I let him know. So I also let him know, about hunting season. So I said, just let me know when it's good for you guys when you're going out, just so we can kind of, say thank you to him when he's done and everything like that. So he's going to keep me posted, but he did submit the forms that he needed to submit. So that's that will be a go based on when he can get out there and start.
Tara, do you think he can also take pictures before and after? So we
I
can
can
really
ask him.
appreciate what
Yeah.
he's done?
Yeah, I can ask him. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Okay. So that was it for that.
Actually, yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
actually, Tara, I volunteered to work with John on some of these projects. I guess the question is whether or not I would need to sign a hold harmless agreement as well, or because I'm appointed on the committee, whether that is taken into account.
I don't think you need to sign one. I don't think so. No other committee members have ever signed a holds harmless agreement, have they? No, so I don't think you need to. If you want to, I can send you one. I'm sure it's not,
I can tell you that I've done piecemeal work out there in various areas out there.
yeah. I don't know that you need to, yeah.
To be honest with you.
I've never done so in my entire time on the committee, and I've done organized, planned trail work and so forth. So
Yeah, I don't think you'll need to because you are an appointed member. So, yeah.
Well, we shall proceed.
All righty.
All right, Terry, you get to keep talking. Trail mapping update.
So Anne Marie and I have been talking. We just both have been with the holidays, and then we both got super busy. So we are going to meet in the next week or two to talk about, we want to use Negri as the first real mapping update, just because Anne Marie is very familiar with the area, and it's there's enough amenities there that we can really see how it looks on a map. So we're going to try and get together in the next week or two, just a Zoom meeting to go over the property, and then we can present to you an idea of what an updated trails map will be. But it actually works out too, because I added this on my notes to talk to you guys about. Oh, so this is maybe a good time if I can loop this in. This year, I'm having monthly meetings with DPW to talk about maintenance at the trails and open spaces. So it's a conference call. I had it at the beginning of last week. And we talked about, the moving to the paint for the trail markers, which they actually are really excited about. But it works out good timing with the trails update, with the update to the trails mapping, because I know we discussed, but some of those colors of trails are going to change, like especially brown. We're not going to have the brown paint on a tree or anything like that because it's just not apparent enough. So maybe that's one thing we can look at with Negri is like, we'll also, when Anne Marie and I like talk and have this draft map, we can talk about changing the color on the map, and I'll make sure that DPW has that updated map. So when they do their stenciling, painting, you know, it's correct. So that was one thing we talked about. Hold on, let me see here. They went and took care of the down tree that Stan had mentioned for Inman Park at the last meeting, because I had mentioned that and they said, oh yes, I think he had mentioned it to them on his own. So they went and took care of that. They said, let me see what else here. Oh, Green Acres came out and did their annual monitoring that they do of the preserved open spaces. And in the report, they said they were really pleased with how everything looks. And there was a few minor issues. A lot of them had to deal with recreation. Like they mentioned, there's a problem with the chain link fence in the skate park. And that there's also like a dip, and not like a natural dip that's supposed to be there, like a pothole basically in the skate park. So they recommended that be fixed. At Inman Park, they brought up that there's some cracks in the tennis courts, and some divots in the baseball field. So all of those that had to relate to recreation, I forwarded to recreation for them to take care of. The main thing they noted on the trails, really it's interesting, kind of had to do with leased farmers and the meadows. So at Van Wickle, they said that there is some planks missing in the boardwalk that they would like to see replaced. And on our Scott Marsden property, which is leased to a farmer, they noticed the big pile of vegetation. And they also asked about the Bunker Hill Environmental Center. They want an update on the roof, and they want to know what's going on with the observation deck, which they feel is in need of repair. But other than that, they didn't really have any other, it was all minor things that can be easily fixed. So I told Carl about what we need to work on, and I forwarded the recreation issues to recreation. So that's good. They're going to work on. I told them that they need to put more stone in the Negri parking lot and at Griggstown, which they said they're going to be working on. I'm trying to look at my notes here and see if I missed anything else.
Sorry, Tara, I didn't quite catch who you said were the people that had brought up the vegetation pile and the missing planks and stuff. Who observed that?
Oh, so every year staff from Green Acres comes all across the state, and they basically inspect any properties that they put money towards from Green Acres for open space funding. And one of the properties they went to in Franklin was the Van Wickle house, and that's where they saw this pile of vegetation. But I have to look into that because that property is leased to the Meadows, and so I need to see, are we responsible for for fixing the boardwalk planks, or are they? That's what I have to figure out, which I have to look into.
Got it. I just missed that it was the state Green Acres.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yep, they do it every year. Yeah, and they go to all the properties. They send a pretty good report. So we talked about that. I told you that they're on board for the paint. And what else? I think that's really all we talked about for that first meeting. Some general updates. I went from our last trails meeting and reported everything that you guys had told me. I talked to them about the sign, Vanessa, at Bunker Hill. They said they did not remove it. So they don't know. Yeah, they said they don't know what is who took it. But it wasn't them.
And then that's like a huge sign,
I know. So they're going to replace it. But one thing as of note, the town wants to kind of make all the signs uniform. So it will be that nice wooden sign, but they're going to use yellow letters.
Okay.
Just so everyone's aware. Any signs replaced will have yellow letters, but it'll still be the nice wooden sign. But no, they didn't take it down. So they're not sure really what happened.
So that'll be a sign similar to if you drive on Amwell Road and go by the Memorial Forest, it'll be that same style of sign.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I like
That'll
that
be
sign.
that.
Thank you. That's nice.
Tara, just, do you know if they have their own sign shop? and what they can do at the
They
station?
do. They have their own sign shop. They have this, they just invested in a really great, sign equipment that can make like all the signs that were for the prescribed burn. Those were all made in-house. Now all of our aluminum hunting signs are also made in-house, which saves us a lot of money. I think they also do make the wooden signs, but that takes a little bit longer. So really they can make almost any sign as long as they have the text and like the sign. Oh, the sign we had to make for the grandparents park, the public notice sign, they made that in-house. So they can really do a lot of anything.
It's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, so every month on the second Monday of the month, I'll be having a call with DPW in the morning. And so if I talked about our last trails meeting and everything that you all had brought up. I talked to them about the benches. That was another thing, the benches. He's going to look, he believes in the state contract that we have, the state cooperative contract that we have access to, that there are the backless aluminum benches that we talked about last time. So he's going to get me a cost on that so that we can, kind of start getting that implemented. And he understands about having a barrier around the bottom for protection from the lawnmowers. We talked about that as well. And yeah, so again, if anyone has anything, I mean, I'll always take the notes from the trails meeting and talk about them. But if you think of anything before those meetings, just feel free to let me know and I'll make sure I get the info to him.
Okay.
So, yep, that was it.
I was going to say, Tara, I was on, I just want to mention about the Inman Park Trail. I was on it this weekend and there are some new trees that are down on the trail that are blocking the trail.
Okay. All right.
Never-ending battle.
I know.
Yeah, it looks like it was just uprooted. So, but
Okay.
it's closer to the softball, the lower part of the park where the
Okay.
softball is. If you know that little brook that you cross,
Yeah.
kind of go up a hill. That's where there's like 2 trees that are down, blocking the trail.
Okay.
And there is one plank missing from the little bridge that's by the baseball field in the upper part of the park. And that's all I have. That's all I have for Inman.
All right. I'll let them know that with the rest of the trail reports tonight.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. So that was it.
I guess, does anyone have any other comments about their trails? If they were on them, if there's anything that needs to be addressed?
Nothing different from last month.
Okay. All right, do we start the pathways and trails plan?
Yes, please.
I got 7:54.
Yep. All right. So again, 45 minutes. And I know we stopped off, if you have it in front of you, around page 20, starting off with county parks.
Okay, hold on. I'll get it up here on my screen. Give me 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. No, are they still here? Hang on. So just so you're aware, Jim, it looks like we do have one member of the public has signed on as an attendee whenever you want to take that.
Sure. I would say that if we make a motion to open the meeting to the public, that's fine.
I make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The meeting is now open to the public. So,
Okay,
Tara, yeah,
let me unmute. Hang on 1 second.
sure.
Okay, hi, is there a caller on still? It looks like Marique Alberg. You might be muted. I see them here. I unmuted them.
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are you?
This is my first time here. I didn't realize that you guys could hear me, and I did not have a question. I was actually here as an observer, so I'm
Okay.
I'm just learning. I'm doing trails and everything as a trail walker. So I'm just learning to see if there's anything I can help with.
Great. That's great. What your name? I see part of your name, I think, on the screen.
It's Marika Alberg.
Marika Alberg. Okay, great.
It's here.
Sorry, Marika, is that Alberg or Albert?
Alberg, Alburg.
B-U-R-G?
Yep.
Thank you.
And just to explain, Malrika, we have to record that just because it is a public open meeting. So we note that there was a member of the public here. That's all.
Yeah, no problem.
But you're welcome to hang out and watch the exciting events of the Trails Advisory Committee meeting.
Thank you.
No, we're delighted. We're delighted you're having an interest in it. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
All right, so Marika, I'm just gonna mute you for now, just for feedback, but if you have any questions or anything in your chat function, you can just type like, I have a question, or unmute me, or whatever you need.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay,
I'll make a motion to close the meeting to public comment at this time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The meeting is now closed to the public with the intent that if else joins in, we can always reopen the meeting to the public. All right.
All right, 7:57 is now the time that we started the Pathways and Trails plan.
Got it. Okay. County Parks, do you have the trails plan in front of you, Tara, or?
I do, yep, I'm just about to share.
Got it. Okay.
Share, here we go. Okay. All right, so here's where we left off, county parks. So we're at Colonial Park at Mettler's Lane and Elizabeth Avenue. The proposed improvement was a bike path that links the Rose Garden to the Franklin Inn, and the surface type proposed is suitable for road bikes. While you guys are doing this, I want to get my mapping up. So is everyone familiar with this area?
So the Franklin Inn is one of the buildings over on between Mettler's Road and the canal. People, in case people aren't familiar with it, there are a couple of buildings on the property over there near the Rose Garden. So that's
It's in East Millstone.
Is that, yeah, I guess that is, right? Yeah.
Yep.
all the way to in East Millstone.
Well,
Yeah, the bike lane has just been added to a section between Wortman Street and Elizabeth Avenue. They're just finishing that up. But and it has some bike lane activity there after that.
well, would this be, would this be considered an adequate substitute, as they do have a bridge leading over to the towpath by the Rose Garden or in that area?
That's
That
right.
will lead you over to Amwell. Is that what we're talking about, or?
Are you all seeing my map up here too, or are you still just seeing the plan?
I'm just still
see the
seeing the
map.
plan.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna stop sharing. I gotta share my entire screen, which is totally fine, but let me just do that so I can flip between the map too. Okay, this way I can flip back and forth. Okay, so here's Elizabeth Avenue. Oh, this is Amwell Road, Elizabeth Avenue. Okay, hold on, let me get my bearings here. There's Spooky Brook. So am I in the right general spot, or
Yeah,
am I?
you're in the right area.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe a little bit more to the left, because the Colonial Park Dog Park, I see that. And it's just across the street.
oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the Franklin Inn is near the post office down there where it says United States Postal Service at the bottom left corner.
Okay. Oh, got it. Got it. Okay, so
Do I got that right, John?
Yeah,
Okay, so here's the Rose Garden, and then the post office is down in this area, right? I mean,
It's
not the
on-
post office, the Franklin Inn.
it's right off 514. It's right next
Okay.
to the canal.
Okay, so this is 514. Okay, yeah, so right by this post office here.
Tara, can you use your measurement function or your mapping function to just draw the proposed path on this map?
Mark, are you more familiar with this proposed map? Because if so, I'll just let you do it when you annotate.
I am not actually. This one is not one that is gripping my memory.
Okay, so let me see then.
I don't recall what the heck we had this in.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
I know they want it suitable for road bikes, but I'm a bit of at a loss. I didn't realize they want.
let me see what it
I
says
didn't
here.
realize we wanted to do that at the time. There was a lot of details to remember, and this is not one of the ones I remember.
So it says bike path to link Rose Garden to Franklin Inn. So it looks like it's right by this parking lot along the canal to the
So I
Franklin Inn.
think the intent from what now I'm looking at and seeing would be if you see B512, block 512, lot 507 there, I believe that is part of the park. That is part of the preserved property behind the
Right.
Millstone Valley Fire Department. If you,
Oh, and here's the parking area that was proposed in the plan for it to start from. So it
Yeah,
looks like
they
they wanted
wanted
to
to
get
go-
to here.
they basically wanted to, if I guess if you want, yeah, if you want to do it from anywhere along this area, somewhere from that parking lot, they want to parallel the canal and come in behind the Millstone Valley Fire Department.
Yeah, so it'd be like heading this way.
Yeah, Which is-
That
I don't
doesn't
recall
make
that.
sense when you've got the towpath right there.
well, it makes sense when you realize that the towpath isn't suitable for road bikes. But I'm not familiar with anybody clamoring for a paved path to
No.
get
Yeah.
between those two locations. Although the idea is interesting in this way, right? Now that when you think of, no, it was not going that direction. It was going to go I think they'd want to bring it because I don't think that's preserved property down close to the canal there. I think where you make that dog leg to the right back there, yeah, I think it wants to go to
That's private property.
Yeah, that's private. You want to go on the yeah.
Like up here somehow.
No, where that sharp angle is where your finger's nearly pointed there.
Right.
You want to go be to the right side of the fire department there. And
Oh,
stay
and
on
come
the
this way.
Yeah, we come over to Amwell and then get to Amwell and then I guess connect with the existing bike lane. No, not there. Not
Yeah.
there. Behind
Oh,
the other side of the fire department.
oh, this is the fire department over here.
No,
So
the
over
fire
here.
department's the orange marker.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
I'm
want to
here.
come
So-
over. Yeah, exactly. You want to go over that way. Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
that's-
drawing is looking terrible.
Right. But that's where you'd want to go that way because that's all that's part of the
Right.
preserved or park space that the county
And then
owns.
this way.
And then connect on, I guess, to the bike lane that's there and then let people.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea is that a vague recollection is that the thought was there's so many road bikers who go along Canal Road and by Sunrise the deli Sunrise
Right.
Creek Deli and that area, and then you have to ride 514 to Mettler's, and that was at the time less safe than it is now because only recently are they in the process of expanding the bike lane along 514. But I don't know if that expansion of the bike lane extends past the intersection of Mettler's and Amwell.
It doesn't extend, right, the improved part is between Wortman Street, which is very near Mettler's Lane.
Yeah, I can see it there. So it goes from Wortman to Elizabeth.
To Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you could take it to Wortman, the improved part, and be good enough. But I guess my personal opinion in looking back on this is I don't think Mettler's all that bad for riding a bike on, for a road bike, for people who are coming from Canal Road and want to continue on into Colonial Park. I think the Wortman Street to the brief part of 514, particularly since that's going to be improved and widened now, and then continuing on Metlers to Colonial Park seems adequate without this. That's just my personal opinion. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's finished now almost finished between Elizabeth Avenue and Wortman. And it's
yeah.
very nicely
This year.
done. It's very,
Yeah.
very wide.
Yeah, I haven't
All
seen
right.
that section specifically. I've seen further closer to Elizabeth, but it looks awfully nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So my
So,
opinion would be to my individual opinion would be to remove this, since we have plenty of other things to focus priorities on.
Right. I would agree with that.
I would agree too. I think this is probably a long time, again, I would say, the towpath is adequate, even for road bikes or off-road bikes, but this was probably done a lot way before that bridge was put in that Colonial Park parking lot.
Yeah,
I would
but
agree. I think it must have been.
for road bikers, the bridge isn't very much help, because then you still have to ride on the non-paved surface, and those skinny tire bikes just can't handle that. But remember, this was 10 years ago. We weren't sure that that any of this 514 stuff wasn't planned at the time to improve and widen that and add the bike lane there by the county. So none of that was envisioned at that time.
Right.
Right. I would agree that, in my opinion, too, to drop it. Anyone else have any ideas, or just if people can mute if you're not speaking? We're getting some feedback.
that might be me typing. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go.
I think that's fine. We don't need to, we can remove it.
I agree.
All right.
The next item, I think, can be removed with the happy ending that it was concluded and actually done. So there's no reason to carry it forward.
Okay, the next one.
Next item is the bridge from the Rose Garden to the canal.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a separate item. Oh, didn't even realize that.
I don't know that it's a swing bridge. I have no idea what the bridge construction.
It's not a swing bridge, no.
I didn't think so, but it's there, it's in, and that's to me a nice look back and say we did the things we needed to do as a committee to support that, in terms of pushing the county and making our voices heard at the time. So yay, something we actually got done or helped get done.
Yeah, it's excellent.
The bridge is heavily used.
I use it. Yeah, my wife and I ride our bikes, and we've used it plenty of times. And yeah, you're right, John. I see a lot of people using it, and in that area, on the towpath.
Mm-hmm.
Even during this time of COVID, I have yet to go and use that bridge and not have somebody else using it at the same time.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome. All right. So then the next one we have is Colonial Park at Metlers Lane and Elizabeth Ave. The proposed improvement is a bike path or lane along Metlers Lane from Weston Canal Road to meet up with the existing bike path at Colonial Park. Surface type suitable for road bikes, needed construction in right of way or acquire land from Exxon. So the proposed improvement, bike path bike path or lane along Metlers Lane from Weston Canal Road. Okay.
Well, it's no longer Exxon, it's now the charter school,
Right.
which is great. I mean, Exxon was good when they were there. It was a little research facility. They were a happy rateable, but now the charter school's there, which is another happy tenant, which we're delighted to have there, I think. So, yeah, that's a narrow road. That's so it was kind of extending the concept of what the previous thing we removed was, just to continue to offer a contiguous, so people would get to the Rose Garden with the other bit and then go through Colonial Park, because it was a perfectly nice shoulder and bike path to use there, or bike lane to use through Colonial Park. And then where do you go from there? Well, continue on Metlers Road would be the idea, all the way to Weston at least. And then Weston now, from Metlers from Weston to Schoolhouse has been improved and widened. There's a sidewalk and a pretty decent shoulder there. So along the, I can't remember, is that Canal Walk? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Canal Walk, yep.
Right. So the question is that narrow, relatively narrow, no shoulder road with quite a perilous ditch along the side, which is
Yes.
Metlers
Yep.
from the entrance of Colonial Park on the Metlers Road, where you cross to go to the between the main park and the Rose
Oh,
Garden,
right, yeah. Yep.
all the way to Weston Road intersection is not fun in terms
No.
of biking, so, or walking or anything for that matter, other than a car. So that was the vision. I don't know what options are there, but the vision was to finish that connector. It's funny, I remember that discussion, but I don't remember that other little, it's done now. We've already said to remove it, but I just think it's funny. I couldn't remember a darn thing about that other piece.
So what do you guys all think about keeping that in, modifying it, removing it?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's just, you know, the more ways that we can provide accessibility to Colonial Park and beyond is good. And I have the feeling that that would be something that would be used by people in these over 55 developments.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think they would,
that are
there's plenty of,
in that area.
yeah, there's plenty of people walking on that. I mean, I frequently, whenever I'm driving or riding or walking that way, which I've done all of those things at one time or another, I frequently see people on that sidewalk that now exists along Canal Walk between Weston Road and Schoolhouse Road. That's pretty regularly used.
Yep,
So
it is.
why not let people get all the way to Colonial Park with that? Now, I would point out there was, and I don't know where it is, or even if it's in this, continues to be in this, I don't see it here because I think we're ending the county park, Colonial Park section here momentarily. There was that square in the middle there, block 511, lot 1.03, smack dab in the middle, just up north of the Central Jersey College Prep Charter School. That's now newly acquired by the county and is now adjacent or attached as part of Colonial Park property.
It would make sense to try to put something in where it is now, that 511 lot 103 that you were just mentioning. Right, it's right on the edge of the road, so you could have it, you know, 6 feet, 8 feet off the road and make a separate bike path right along there.
Yeah, we'd run into the situation of, do you run it there or do you run it along the Weston Road and then the back edge and go behind the charter school? That was the two back at the time, those were the questions or ideas. Yeah. Either one, I don't know if the school, we'd have to work with the school or whoever the property owner is that's leasing it to the school. I don't know what the situation is in terms of the land ownership.
They're leasing.
They're leasing. Okay. Thank you, Vanessa.
Isn't 511 1.03 county open space?
It is.
It's leased to Bobby Puskas and he grows corn on it.
Okay.
Yep, I think that's true.
Possible. Yeah, it's definitely owned by Somerset County, that's for sure.
At the time of its acquisition and the discussion, we actually as a committee made a motion to recommend its acquisition to the county, if I recall correctly, and with the provision that we be allowed to come up with some kind of connector to Colonial Park from that intersection.
Well, I guess the question is, are we going to run into the, farmer trail problem that we seem to have with
Well, I mean, we can talk to the county. It's really, this was the intent. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to have it farmed with just the caveat. I mean, it's just the caveat that we have the easement to run the path. I mean, I think particularly if we were to run either an argillite shale style path similar to the canal path surface or an actual paved path, I don't know if I'd be satisfied with either, to be honest with you. That if we could run a path down just right as close to Mettler's Lane as feasible, that wouldn't significantly impede what is being farmed there, and in fact might better delineate it so that people are more like, you give them a path, people are far less likely to go walk in the grass because they don't have someplace else to walk than to walk on what's designated.
It just disappeared.
Oh, sorry, I'm just typing that note down real quick before I forget the block and lot number.
Right.
511-103. Sorry, let me just type that
No,
real quick
that's fine.
on block 5.
That adjacent lot, 2.04, is that county open space or is that township open space?
2.04.
Yes, right next to it.
That is County of Somerset.
Okay, so this,
Yeah.
I guess this wooded area is also county open space.
I'm
So
sure
that's
it
what
is.
you're talking about, Mark, is to run it along that line between the two plots of land and then run it behind the school?
Those were the two possibilities considered. Neither had a lead. It was just both options were talked about as a possibility. The idea being you could get directly into Colonial Park without necessarily having to go continue along Mettler's Road. It's like Nob Hill is that 511 lot 11 block 5 where Nob Hill is marked. That's the park. That's Colonial Park.
That's Cologne. And these 3 parcels, 1, 2, 3, they're all owned by Somerset County.
Yeah.
And
So
they all have frontage to Weston Road except for this little piece. Who owns this? Let's see what this is, because all in the middle there.
2.02 and 2.03. I mean, they're not, I think those are privately owned.
I think so. Yeah, they have to be. Yeah. 2.02. Yeah, that's a
You said
private landowner.
2.02 was the county's.
No.
No. 204. So this here, let me move this out of the way for a minute.
204 is county.
Yeah, 3,
Yep.
204, 103, all county, and then this is Colonial Park right here.
Yeah, that's great.
I think we'd be whatever would make the neighbors and the farming lease happiest. I'm fine with it. I don't have a strong preference either way for getting us into or to Colonial Park, somewhere along there. I just
Interesting thing is that if we were okay with, and say there was a way to figure out, which there is, if there is a way to figure out this connection that we're talking about, Weston Road to Mettler's, that first one that we just said, we really don't need it. If you look at it in connection with this, it could connect. If you could get an agreement with the county, and like you said, the charter school, you can kind of make your way right here to the parking lot of that garden, and that's the first trail. And so basically you bring that all the way to here.
Yeah, but I think we were not intending this particular recommendation that we're reviewing now was not trying to bring it to the Rose Garden parking lot. It was trying to bring it, if you go from the Weston Road, Mettler's Road intersection, that 4-way up there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that was trying to get it to the road, the entrance of Colonial Park on Mettler's Road.
Got it. So like, okay, yeah.
Further
Okay.
down, right there, right where
Yep.
parking lot B area is.
Right.
That's where it was trying to go. Now, I think we'd be, my opinion, again, it's just me speaking my opinion. I think to think in terms of the spirit of what was proposed 10 years ago, I think we'd be satisfied with anything that got you all the way into Colonial Park and connected to the rest of the Colonial Park walking paths that are there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we care one way or the other. It's just connecting it. The whole point is people having a contiguous connector that they can walk.
Yeah.
Without, because you could do a heck of a loop now if you could walk from somewhere in Colonial Park, park in Colonial Park, anywhere in Colonial Park, and then walk that path all the way to that Weston and Mettler's intersection.
Right.
Well, now you've got the opportunity to walk along that path, along the paved sidewalk path that was put in as part of Canal Walk. That's open to, that runs right along the edge of Mettler's Road that goes to Schoolhouse Road, and then it turns left and follows Schoolhouse Road all the way to Canal Road.
Yeah.
And then we already previously discussed, I think in one of our prior sessions about the PTP update, the little section and what to do about the little section that goes from where the sidewalk ends there on Canal Road and getting over to the canal path, where it intersects and crosses the canal on the, the, whatever, I'm missing the name here,
By Weston Road.
Weston Road, where it crosses into Manville on the Manville Causeway.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Weston Canal, yeah.
So then you could continue on the canal path and come all the way back to the Rose Garden Bridge and make a full loop.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
tremendous loop.
Yep, you're right.
So I think as long as we could get it anywhere, it doesn't matter where. People can make their own loops at that point. All right, I'll shut up now.
No, I
So
think that's a good
everyone is in
idea.
agreement keeping this in?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I'm just gonna put the note in there that work would need to be done with the county on block 511, 103, 204, and 3, and potentially the charter school.
Yeah, or whoever the owner is that's leasing to the charter school, because as Vanessa noted, we're being leased there, I think, so.
Okay, all right, that works. All right, then, yeah,
I was gonna say, my thinking is with all those new houses, for Canal Walk, something direct from, as Mark was saying, that paved path straight from Mettler's Road to Canal, to Colonial Park. I think that would be the most efficient and direct. Those people are over 55, so maybe something for me.
You'd have a lot of people interested, I think.
And it's right at that intersection where all those houses are as well, so I think to go straight down Mettler's.
got it, yeah.
That's my,
The more direct path would be nice, and I think it would be a little nicer if it could get over to the woods part. I would call that my choice A, but I would certainly accept choice B if it just followed the road, if that's what was the path of least resistance for all the associated interests.
Got it.
true, agreed.
All right.
Good.
So the next one and the last one for county parks we have in here is the Spiden and Hobel Farms Little Valley Natural Area, Canal Road in Griggstown. The proposed improvement was a trail realignment to avoid the wetter areas and decrease erosion, along with trail markers, surface type, pervious, and natural. So Little Valley Natural Area, Canal Road.
I've driven by it many times. I see the Speeden house, Speeden Hope.
Spiden, okay.
Right, Speeden, whichever it is. Spiden probably, I don't know, that starts with it's S-P-I, so like E, so Spiden probably, who knows. Jim, you might be the only person here who's ever walked the trail. Is there a trail there, and have you walked it? Because you're like the only one I think who has.
Hold on, okay. It's been years, so
My apologies to anybody else who has, since Jim has, but he's the only one I know of who's done it.
Actually, I've been walking trails in that area for the last couple of weeks with Ted Chase.
Okay, great.
and,
So we have a very recent view of it.
But I'm not sure we actually got down that far. Ted's house is on Copper Mine Road. And the
Gotta keep going, Tara.
the area
Keep going, okay.
across Copper Mine is county property with trails going through it down to this area.
I'm sorry to interrupt you 1 second. Mark, am I getting close to it or am I still too far?
No, I think you're gonna come back just a little bit. because we got to see Copper Mine Road, which is a little north of this, I think.
Copper Mine, where are you, Copper Mine? I know you're around here. Sorry, Chuck.
That's quite
Yeah,
right.
you should be right about there.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm looking for the road now. It should, because it's the Copper Mine Road is just south of the John Clyde Preserve. There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Okay, we're in the general area. Sorry, Chuck, go ahead.
Wait a minute.
I think
I'm sorry. It's not up Copper Mine. It's in the road below that, which
further
is,
south, between Old Georgetown and Copper Mine.
Georgetown.
yeah, it's Old Georgetown Road. I'm sorry. Okay. But, it's a bit of a problem.
Further
trying to-
south.
Sorry, did I go too far? No, there's Copper Mine. Where's
No,
Old
no,
George?
further south,
You gotta
further
keep
south.
going further south.
There's Old Georgetown. There it is. Okay, there's Copper Mine. There's Georgetown.
Road, okay,
So then go west.
We're going,
no, on Old Georgetown Road.
Yeah, a little.
here's
west
Old
of that.
Georgetown.
Okay, all right, yeah, you see the bin to the left of the screen, near Stephen Drive, I think it is. I think it's, lot B9,
Okay,
L48.
B948.
That doesn't quite look right. I
Seven.
trying to look on my maps here, just a
Just
second.
go a little further west, Tara. So we can see Canal Road. Now, there it is, Little Valley Stables. That's it.
Okay,
Just go north, just north of the Cheris Camp Reservation.
Up there it
Little
is. Yep.
Valley Stables, that's the
Perfect.
property.
okay.
Block 9, lot 7. Okay.
All of that is, if you can reduce the magnification just a bit. Might be better if I was to show you
Whoa.
on my maps, but that's probably okay. Now I've lost the stables. Oh, now I see them. Jerry's Camp Reservation. Okay, that's county property is heading north and goes into that area down there. And there are creeks in there. They still have that Spide and Hobel Farm is where the stables are. Is that correct? Are there stables there now?
Yes, the Little Valley Stables are on the,
Little Valley Stables are there. Okay. But that's all county property heading north.
heading north or heading east?
Heading north from Old Georgetown Road, the location where Ted's house is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there are trails that go all the way through there. Now, what's happened, which we discovered, is that the stables owner apparently has gone in and cleared some of these trails and marked them and is using it for, equestrian trails. But
Okay.
we can also hike in that. You can also hike on those trails. And then on the other side of the road, next to Ted's house, is Township open space property. I think it's B8L 1813.
This one.
I believe so. If you could click on that, let's see if that's the one. Well, just, get the metadata.
Cully property. That's Cully.
Yeah, it's part of the Cully property. See, there in this area, and it's something I was talking to Tara about this afternoon. In fact, there's large areas of open space property. Some of it's township, some of it's county, and I'd say probably a bit more of it is county. But it's a really prime location to put in some nice woodland trails. I mean, trails kind of park, but the trails would go through township property, and then they go through county property and back into township property and so on. And I think this ties into it. This recommendation ties into it. But could we maybe sort of defer talking about this area until we can get a better scope on properties in the area and go out and look at this and see where we might actually be able to propose a trail system that moves from the Cully Farm area on Georgetown Turnpike up to Old Georgetown Road and then goes across into this area in the proposal, which would go down to the Spiden and Hobel Farms.
Okay, so,
I mean, there's this bend, the turnpike with the
Yeah.
recently acquired Cully property here. Right next to it is a nice parking lot that could be used as a trail. That's county, and you can actually go from the Cully property into county property and have trail systems that go up back into township property and so on. It's a mix.
Right, the township acquired, and we did not too long ago, only a couple of years ago, I'd say, a walk of the Cully, the township acquired part of the Cully property, right? And we had like a drone flyover by, I thought Fran somebody had gone in there and
Yeah, you're right.
surveyed it, and we saw like a flyover with a drone, pictures of it, and some of us actually went out and met, I think it was Fran and not Tara at the time, and took a walk there.
Right.
So I don't know, what's that, 2-3 years ago now?
Yeah.
It was one of them. It was very near the end of Fran's tenure. It was close to when she wrapped up.
Well, I've been walking in that area, and it's got interesting geological features. I mean, there are cliffs in the area, as well as it's heavily wooded, and so on. It's something that I would like to put considerable amount of thought into, maybe developing a trail system that would, serve among other things, the south end of the township, and be really a nice asset to the community. But
I'd be open to tabling it. I'd be open to tabling it for tonight, but what's our timeline? Because if we want to include it in the PTP, we obviously want to do it relatively, I'd like to say soon, but knowing how long it's taken us to get this far, I guess.
How many months? Somehow I got the feeling we're going to spend a few more months on this PTP.
we could table it for tonight, and then, as we get closer, we can try and, really hammer that out. And then if we can't, we can discuss like how we, approach putting that in the plan so that it's like in there, but we'll try and get the details on it.
My one request would be maybe if Tara, if you can, at something at about this level, maybe slightly more zoomed in, but if you can sort of show all the county and township owned properties in this sort of section, so we can see what connects, or if there's connections, or if everything's contiguous or not. Because I think
that would be very helpful. I've been going through the township maps, and you from the township maps you can figure it out, but we're literally having to create my own map, with those property designations to start thinking about. So,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now our pictures are there. Okay, but that's fine. Just we have a general idea of the blocks and lots. Okay. All right. Perfect.
I guess it's not my worst side.
Yeah. There you go. I know. Well, I'm in like, okay. Okay. So then we have state parks. Let me see here. How many? Just looking DNR. Okay. We got a few state parks to work through. Okay.
We've only got
So-
10 minutes left or so. I don't, what we
All
can
right.
try and discuss.
Do you guys want to move forward and start with the state parks, or do you want me to break for now?
Why don't we just do the first one? That'll finish page 21.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can finish with that.
Okay. So
That would be great.
the state park we're talking about right now is DNR Canal State Park, Easton Ave, and JFK Boulevard. The proposed improvement is a pedestrian swing bridge from the land adjacent to the Somerset Diner to the DNR Canal towpath. It says here, needed purchase of land adjacent to Somerset Diner and then funds for construction of a pedestrian bridge. So I think, didn't the county end up working with,
We had a whole proposal we saw from.
The whole proposal.
Yeah.
but then I believe, because I was working at the county when this happened, and I thought that there was a big thing, like the owner that bought it, he wanted to put a gas station there, I think, and they were working with him to try and get some of the land set aside as part of the development deal. But I don't know that that ever actually happened.
Well, actually, the last proposal, John Luce came to the committee
Right.
last year or the year before, I've forgotten now. And as a representative of the Canal Commission, and he was asking for the town to contribute open space money to build a bridge across the canal. The diner was going to contribute parking spaces for a small parking lot in the back
Mhm.
of the diner that would be part of the bridge approach that would lead over to the canal. And as I recall, this was taken to open space. It did not make some people in open space happy, but it was also taken to the county, and the county was even less happy about
No,
it.
it was the thought behind it when that proposal came to both committees was like, why would we contribute to, this was from the county's perspective, and the OSAC's was, why would we contribute to a bridge that's on and leading to state property?
Yeah.
That was the discussion that happened there.
Okay, well.
But I think though, I'm almost positive, I think that land next to the Somerset County Diner, I'd have to go and see what happened. But at that time, the person that owned it was trying to, I don't know if they were trying to get permission to do like a gas station there or something. I don't know where that left off.
They might go.
I can understand the desire to have something from JFK that
Right.
connects over.
Right.
But it certainly is a very, like when you look at the distance between Demont Lane, at the bridge to get on the towpath there, and then Landing Lane Bridge, it's only 2 miles, which is a pretty short stretch on the towpath.
Right.
The thought was in terms of adding more options for loops to kind of give people some shorter loops.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion was it wasn't a high priority back in the day because, as we've pointed out, we have the DeMott Lane, we have Landing Lane, we have 287. They're pretty well spaced apart. I mean, they make some pretty large loops if you wanted to go into the neighborhoods, and then, I mean, you wouldn't walk on Easton Avenue, but if you went up into the neighborhoods and then walked and did a loop on the canal path, that's a pretty sizable walk.
Right.
Not for the casual walk.
Right.
So the thought was by adding another bridge, you might make it a little more palatable for the neighborhoods at these.
At the end of all that discussion, I just was handed a note that John Luce was saying that the several government entities, I don't remember exactly which, were proposing rather not have a bridge there, but actually to put a bridge in the Freedom Martin Commons, on the Freedom Martin Commons area, over the canal to get to the towpath. And I don't know
Where's that? Which direction?
Okay,
Very close to Landing Lane.
it's very close to Landing Lane. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's closer to
oh
Landing
yeah,
Lane.
that's an actual existing bit of park. I think there's a sign for it off
Right.
of Easton
Nobody
Avenue,
lives
right?
there.
Yeah. It's a park. There is a parking lot. It's wooded down to the canal. I've actually kayaked in that area looking, and there's a stream that goes down that area.
So Tara, further east on your map there. Yeah, but stay north so we can keep the river in view.
Okay.
It's after the Harrison.
Oh, we're coming up to Landing Lane. Here we go. Landing Lane.
But it's behind. It's somewhere between the Harrison. I thought it's in between the Harrison and Landing Lane. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's on the next side.
Actually, it's, I think it's actually near those apartments.
Yeah.
Near
so
the
maybe
Colonial?
no, not the Colony, the Harrison to the west of you.
Right.
Oh, these apartments.
It's
Yeah.
I think it's block 259, lot 42.
Yeah.
And those areas in there, you see what looks like a long driveway
Yeah.
going into it.
A
And then,
cul-de-sac.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the spot.
Okay. Yeah, that's DEP property. 3.6 acres.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was talk of putting it there instead.
Yes,
that
there was
happened
talk about putting it there instead.
at the time of, or after the previous proposal was sort of negatively received?
Well, I think at the end of the discussion, which occurred over several meetings, John said something about there was other interest in putting a bridge there, but I think that other interest is about as solid as the interest for this connection at the
Yeah. This links right over to Johnson Park. Yeah.
between.
Well, no, it wouldn't cross the river. It would just cross the canal.
No, it just crosses the canal, so people get access to the towpath. One part of the discussion of the previous proposal, of the previous area there behind the diner, was that it would actually help the restaurant workers coming by bicycle from New Brunswick to get to the diner and other business areas, because many of them actually come by bicycle from New Brunswick.
But there is a sidewalk that extends on the other side of Easton Avenue all the way.
Yes, and I personally know somebody who died on a bicycle being hit by a car in that area.
On the sidewalk?
He was not on the sidewalk. Well, he was hit by a car in the saddle area. There's the two hills, and you dip down into a saddle as you're going west on Eastern.
Yeah,
Avenue.
it wasn't on the sidewalk.
I'm not sure the sidewalk's there.
There's a sidewalk that runs all the way from past Landing Lane. That goes from there all the way to JFK and DeMott. Absolutely. It's there. It's on the south side of Easton Avenue. It's not on the diner side. It's on the opposite side.
Right.
Well, I
And
don't
then you
know.
have the little memorial plaza here too. Yeah.
But there's a sidewalk that extends all the way in front
Yeah,
of.
there's a lot there. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, Stop and Shop, in front of the Stop and Shop, in front of the IHOP. The sidewalk goes all the way to Landing Lane and past almost to Buckley Park. I think it does. I think it goes all the way to St. Peter's.
I'm not sure. I have to go and look.
It's a sidewalk. It's not like a paved bike path like you see
actually,
on.
bicycles aren't supposed to be on the sidewalk, I think, unless they've been designated as bike paths. But yeah, all I know is this fellow was at the gym that I was at the time, and I think he was riding in the street, but I'm in the area, yeah, he was hit by a car, killed.
Jeez.
Obviously a tragedy, but
Yeah.
but in terms of this particular item, it's specifically the bridge across Easton at the bottom of JFK.
You're right. It's just the bridge would provide an access path going from Landing Lane down the towpath to that area, that commercial area.
Yeah.
At intersection of JFK and Easton Avenue.
Since it was already shot down by the county, are we going to include that in our plan or are we going to remove it?
I suspect it should be removed. But,
Yeah.
Well, it's up to us whether we remove it. I'd be inclined to remove it in the interest of focusing on other items. And we've already got a lot of things in here that is part of a 10-year master plan for paths. And since we know it's met resistance already, I guess I'd be inclined to remove it for this
I
period
agree
of
with
time.
that. And I would like to reiterate what I said at that meeting with open space, which is I think that it would be in our best interest to increase our signage to direct people towards the towpath at the DeMott Lane and Easton Avenue, one near the 287 entrance, to promote the use for our township residents on the towpath, because a lot of them don't.
the best thing you're breaking up with me is it's, could you say that again, please?
Sure. I was saying how, just to reiterate what was said at that county, the joint meeting, which was, I encourage us to increase the signage for the signage to the towpath at the DeMott Lane and the 287 Easton Avenue entrances to promote our township residents' use of the state park.
It's hard when it's hard to see.
But there is even like the simple trail crossing sign like we have for 6 Mile Run on South Middlebush Road. Like if we simply put those signs up near those intersections, I think that it would catch people's eyes and make them aware.
I think that's a good idea.
I agree.
I'm certainly in favor.
Agreed, yes.
By the way, my timer went off about 5 minutes ago. So
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think that one's done, so. All right, so we're starting off on page
22.
13, it says.
13 at the bottom of the page. I think you guys have the entire plan. I just have the appendix up right now.
Yeah, I got page 22 as well.
Cool, okay.
right.
All right, we keep making progress. That's good.
Yep.
All right. Any other business, I guess? Let me find out my notes, but does anyone have anything else?
Have anything?
I don't, oh, we have another, so there's another person on as an attendee, just so you know.
Okay.
Well, I guess if we want to, we just finish up. We can open it. Do you know if they have any comments or they just want to listen, or
Let me ask, hang on.
if they have any questions, sure.
Hi, on my screen, it says law POW.
Can you ask them if they have any?
Do you have any, I think they're, okay, so whoever is on as law POW, if you have any questions or comments, did you want to speak?
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Oh, no, I was just listening to the meeting. I was interested in the master plan for near the Somerset Diner
okay,
because I live off the JFK and it will be easy for me to just go straight down JFK right over into the state park if they get by the access to the park from the JFK Eastern Avenue.
got it.
Actually, that was, I remember, and we had a joint meeting with Open Space Committee when this topic was discussed. And there were several, at least one member of the Open Space Committee pointed out how that would be a very convenient bridge from JFK.
Right. There's a lot of residents that live in that area. Quill, I think it's Quillbrook over there. There's a lot of people that live in those residential areas that can come right down and be right into the state park without going 2 miles to Landing Lane or the other direction to
Right.
Delmont. And it's not even no parking over there.
Yeah.
No parking to get to the state parks at either one of those entries. So, we need some expansion so other folks can know that the canal was there, because you can't actually see it in the summertime. But
Right.
during the fall, you can see the canal, people walking on it, but it's hard to get access to it.
Mm.
Do you get access? Do you walk on it or hike or bike on it?
Well, I've been on it. I've walked on it a few times from going towards Brown Book,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
I never rode
Where
a
do
bike.
you,
I
where do
live
you,
on-
I'm sorry,
Excuse
where do you normally get onto the canal path at
Well,
this?
I normally, because of the route from off Delmar Lane is just like a narrow road, and it's only parking for like 6 or 7 cars, I think, back there, and it's kind of narrow. I always go up further towards Brown Book, and
So
I
you're
get
parking like in the lot, to
in the lot
in the
right
lot?
there where the canal is, right there off 287.
At 287, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that requires you to drive over there, which I
Yes,
guess
it
it would
do,
be
because
easier to walk down to Easton. Is that the
it
idea?
will be easier for me to walk 1 mile from my home straight down JFK right to Easton and right into the state park across Easton Avenue.
He needs to know about the mod.
The,
He doesn't.
I've been to the park that way too. So it's like a narrow woody. It's like a lot of woods and stuff. You got to drive to the woods and you can't see that entrance from the road.
Right, yeah, I know.
it's not well marked. I know, Tara, maybe this is something we could also talk to the state parks about, because there is actually, because of the Van Wickle house, there is parking there. There's parking near the house as well. Like when there's events there, there's lots of parking, but it's not obvious. And because the entryway, I have friends as well who don't want to go through DeMott Lane because it's so narrow getting in and out. I'm wondering if that's something we could work on, seeing if we could improve the access at that spot so people are more comfortable using it too.
Sorry. I think that's a good idea. I can put that down as an outreach.
And
Yeah.
again, to the person speaking, if we can have your, because we do put it in the minutes, it's a public meeting, so we do have to put it in the record. So if you could give us your name, and if it's hard, spell it.
All right, Lawrence Powell. Lawrence Powell.
Okay.
Lawrence Powell, 23 Renfro Road.
All right, thank you. And again, I know what you're saying. We've discussed this before, and then there's so many entities that are involved. It's the township, it's the county, we're trying to get county money for that, and also it's a state park. So again, we have discussed this at length. It kind of was rejected, but I think we can keep it in the plan and maybe drum up some more support for it. I don't know.
I would be willing to reconsider and keep it in the plan for the point of keep continuing to ask about it. It's just, we have we're like only able to wag about a third of the dog, unfortunately, in this. So. Yeah,
I think, Chuck, if you could remind me, I think, there were estimates of a bridge being like $500,000 or something like that, or because I remember this discussion 3 years ago. Yeah.
You're onto something.
$500,000 was what was projected, which currently is a lowball figure.
Yeah.
That they said, well, yeah, right, $500,000. That'll be much more than that. Let's put it that way. But actually the diner had quite a bit of interest in this. They thought they could gin up business by giving up part of their parking area in the back as a lot for that particular bridge.
I imagine they wouldn't be getting $500,000 worth of business, though, willing to pony up any money for it.
Come on, do you really think they want to pay for it?
No, no, of course not. I mean, and they shouldn't. I mean, really, it's public access to a public space.
Right. Right. It's just one more point,
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of, it sounds to me like there's public, I mean, Mr. Powell chiming in here, and that's one of the first people we've heard from the general public making the case for it. But I think there's probably many of his neighbors who just haven't, who would think the same thing once it was there, potentially. We can still keep asking for it, but like I said, I guess what I'd really like to know, Tara, is if you have any way to find out what it cost for the Colonial Park Rose Garden Bridge? Because that was only, that was the most recent bridge across the canal, and why did that cost it north of $500,000?
It did.
Really?
It was closer to $1 million, I think.
No kidding. For what?
No way, really?
I mean, it's a nice bridge, but it doesn't look like $1 million worth of bridge to
What do you
me.
think of the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts on this?
Yeah.
Right. It really is. I think Anne Marie said it, but it's true. It's the permitting and the planning for it, like the actual conceptualizing and drafting of the plans and the permitting is what really is the big cost.
I'm in the wrong business. I should have been a bridge architect or something.
Not to
Set
mention
up a toll, set up a toll to pay for it.
that is part of the historic district, Canal Historic District, which I recently had experience with getting permits through the historic office and the park office, separate permits and so on. They can get pretty pricey because you have to have architectural plans and historic preservation plans drawn up, so you actually have to have consultants brought in to at pricey figures to propose these, put in these proposals.
Well, I still think maybe we should reconsider, keep it in the plan for now as an item to, just so it's an attention holder, and that maybe part of the way the plan works is that it may be that some type of development easement could add to a fund that could help that at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? Like,
Maybe down the line.
yeah.
Right. No.
Because that's what happened. There was one point where when this was discussed, that PSE&G or one of the other electric companies who was redoing all those utility poles on Cedar Grove and putting in much enlarged and more substantial utility lines and poles, and was crossing the canal. In order to get the permission from the Canal Commission, I think they ponied up some of the money that went towards, maybe it was the Rose Garden Bridge, but I think they ended up, in order to get that concession, contributing to a fund. So those types of situations could occur again.
Yeah. Well, I'm in favor of keeping it in the plan. As Mark says, just, to keep the discussion going.
Yeah.
And maybe things will happen.
Okay, we can do that. We can leave it in for now and just keep discussing it like we have been.
Yeah, okay, that sounds great. I would do that. Yeah, there's a lot of houses. I'm looking at the map now, off in New Brunswick, East and North apartments on Eastern Ave. Yeah, there's plenty of people there, and it does sound like it. Again, it's kind of like a wish or pie in the sky, but as long as we have it, I think it's good.
It's one of the most densely
we still get
populated
considered.
sections of the town.
It is.
For sure.
And another point just handed to me is that people love a place where they can stop and eat by the canal, which there doesn't seem to be any place to do that.
Right, true.
That might be another public impetus. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the information. We appreciate the input, and the public actually does want something like that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Please
Thank
come
you.
back to our next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Right.
I think that's about it. That's all I have. I guess just a quick question, Tara, from the minutes from the last meeting on, what is it, Ava Joseph's to join the committee.
Before right before the township's reorganization meeting, and the mayor and I were discussing, I forwarded the recommendation from this committee for Ava Joseph. And I followed up with Anne Marie McCarthy, the clerk, and she said that her application had not been received or submitted. So I think did I follow up with you on that, Vanessa, I think?
I don't think we did. We talked about it in the meeting, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, so it's,
I messaged her this evening.
Okay.
And asked her, she says that she did, submit it, but is happy to submit it again.
Okay. If, you know what to do, maybe, I know it's like a web form or whatever, but if I think there's a way you can either save it or take a screenshot of it or whatever. If she wants to email that to me, so I have it and I can directly get it there, maybe that might be good too.
I had shared you, her email address with you a while ago. Let me share it again.
Okay.
So like you can follow up with her. That would be great.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. So we'll keep on it.
All right, that's all I have. I'm gonna make a motion to close the meeting.
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? All right.
Aye.